Tank's Kevin O'Leary made a very bearish call on housing yesterday on this program. Take a listen.
I don't care whether you pay $200 million for your home or you pay $200,000 for it. This is going to be a crappy investment for the next 5 to 10 years. There'll be no capital appreciation on this asset. Rising rates are going to kill real estate. Rent. Do not buy any of this stuff.
Well, Kevin, using those technical terms about investments, back to make his case further today, and he's joined by our own Larry Kudlow, who has a slightly different take on the issue. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. You just heard, I hope, Kevin, Mr. Lutnick talking about how he thinks basically the runway is clear for takeoff, particularly for commercial real estate. Why does he have the scenario wrong?
First of all, you have to take his premise. He's built his case on the idea that interest rates are not going up in our lifetimes. And I love it when everybody is consistent on the same message, because I'm actually a vampire. I've been around for 120 years. I've seen this happen over and over again. When you get complacency on something as core as interest rates, you have to know with certainty that change is about to happen. I am convinced that at some point later this year, we'll see the first 25 basis point rise. It'll rip through the infrastructure of utilities and REITs and real estate. You do not have real estate asset values increasing in a rising rate environment. That never works long term. That's why it's a very bad idea. And that's just the beginning of the damage.
Look, raising interest rates, by the way, is not the same as having a rising rate environment. In other words, the Fed could do something like that and not actually see much move along the entire curve.
Look, interest rates are going to go up at some point next year or two, but they're going to be minuscule interest rates, whether I like that or not. Yellen, Bernanke, Bernanke with his 400,000 dinners with the hedge fund guys, said you're going to have below normal, below 4% interest rates on the short end of the curve. So I don't think interest rates are going to be a big factor. I do think this is a pretty good time to buy homes. I also think you should buy stocks as well. It's a low interest rate environment. Even if they creep up, it's still low interest rate. You got tax advantages. There's no capital gains tax. You got a lot of leverage. You got a lot of product out there. And it depends where. Can I just say this? When you talk about housing, it's neighborhood. It's location. In Denver, home prices are booming. In Dallas, they're setting record highs. In a lot of other places, if you want to go to Vegas, you can get a house real cheap.
But here's the point. The fundamental disagreement between the two of you over the value of housing comes down to whether or not, and how this is the central debate, whether or not you think interest rates are going up. Larry, you say no. Kevin, you say yes.
I'm saying
Larry, let me take another crack at it.
In other words,
let's just take a case study.
Fed tightening. Not a true Fed tightening. They're going to go up a little, but not a real Fed tightening. I'm sorry,
All
Kevin,
right.
go ahead.
Leave the Fed with a 25 basis point move in the next year. Let's just call it that. Now let's take a couple in Denver, a city you sounds like you like. They want to buy a $250,000 home. They've got $50,000 of equity put down. By the way, getting a loan on a home today, much harder. So you're going to have some equity. Now you're going $200,000 in debt. You're going to service it at somewhere between 3 and 4%. The transaction fees alone will be somewhere around 5% by the time you actually buy and sell all the things you need, pay the land tax. You have to guess that house is going to go up 6% or better every year you own it to just cover the cost of carrying the debt and all the transactional costs getting into it. And here's where the rubber meets the road, Larry. I don't think that house is going to be worth any more than $250,000 5 years from now. You would have better off going into the market. 50% bonds, 50% stock with more liquidity.
Actually,
I think you'll do better.
I agree with you. And I also agree with you on this. I ran the numbers. Actually, my friend John Riding, who's much smarter than I am, ran the numbers from RDQ Economics. Over the long run, over 30, 40 years, stocks outperform median home prices by a lot. So actually, you've got a point there. I think right now, though, with rock bottom interest rates and all the various tax and interest rate write-offs, by the way, those tax advantages and interest rate write-offs in the next 5 or 6 years are probably going to go away with tax reform. So now is a good time to cash in on that. Closing costs, it depends where you are. 6% a year? Yeah, and look, again, you got to tell me where. I don't want to. I already own a home in Connecticut, and the sales tax, the property tax is too high.
So funny you mentioned
the property tax
we
is
started
too high.
talking about this yesterday, Kevin. If you recall, we were starting with property taxes,
Yeah.
and from there,
property taxes.
about the
Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey have the highest property taxes in
Under
America.
my strategy,
They really
I just
are.
don't want young people to plunge themselves into debt and pay property taxes and put themselves at risk that their asset will never go up.
Well,
Larry,
the key
I
to that-
forbid you to tell anybody to buy a house ever again.
No, the key to that, Kevin, the key to that, by the way, this is what's been missing from the housing conversation for 10 years or 20 years. There must be a 20% down payment, not 3%, 20% down
let me
payment.
just ask a quick question
If there had been a 20%,
would you tell people, young people, never to buy a home before we have to go?
I wouldn't tell young people never to do anything, but it
I'm
depends
telling
where
you
they're
not
gonna
to.
live.
We asked Kevin,
If
who's
it's
not a
Flo-
young
if it's-
people. He said
if
he's a
it's
vampire.
Florida,
He's
look,
been
there's
around
parts of this
125
country
years.
that are doing. If it's
That's
parts
young
of
for
this
a vampire.
country that are doing fabulous,
so
and that's
Kevin,
a good opportunity. to buy.
Kevin, do you own your home now? And if you were buying a home in a nice vacation place like Naples, Florida, would you buy or would you rent?
I own multiple homes. I'm not buying any more. In fact, I'm going to be selling a few of them now because I think they're at a high. And on top of that,
Well,
I would
that's a
rent
good
in
trade.
Naples.
That's a good trade.
I've never
Absolutely.
made money in a home,
I
frankly.
think that's a good trade. But, you know, again, keep this in mind. Young people and Kevin, there's no capital gains on the profit from the sale of the house. And that's important.
Larry,
because on
don't lull
stocks,
them
you gotta
into a
play
sense of
capital.
security.
All right.
You are hurting young people right now. Shame on you.
Now, buy stocks, buy real estate. Things are better than you think and will be for the next
Don't buy any
half-dozen
real
years.
estate. Don't do
All
it.
right.
Great to see you both. Getting bruised and battered around here. At 25 minutes to go, the Dow's up 10, the S&P 500 in record territory for closer. NASDAQ even's adding about 16, Tyler. 16, Tyler.
Nothing gets